And good afternoon, everyone. I'm AJ Jones. It is our first show of 2021, the New Year's Day edition of Freestyle Friday. And you know what that means. It is time to go. We are KYOK, AM 1140, Conroe, Houston, and FM 92.3. And folks are streaming us live on KYOKradio.org. Let's go.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it?
Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. We ready. We ready. We ready. We ready.
Any dogs in the house? Any dogs in the house?
When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit.
That's it.
It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's hunt. We ready.
Any dogs in the house? Happy New Year, Heavenly.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man.
They can be a hit just like us.
He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. You haven't worked in my world. What time is it?
Game time.
What time is it?
Game time.
What time is it?
Game time.
What time is it? Let's go. Let's go.
By God, let's go.
We ready. Let's go. It's a wrap. Game over.
All right, now this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and this is our Freestyle Friday. But like Heavenly Hughes just said, it is New Year's blessings, and it is 2021, and we are ready. Hey, Desiree Battles, how you doing? Again, welcome to the Friday Freestyle Friday, but again, the New Year's Day edition. I'm so happy to be able to be a part of 2021, and I mean it. I'm excited. Retha Linscomb Nelson, how you doing, sis? Hope everything is going well with you, the family, and of course, my godchildren. So big shout out. All right, a lot going on in the world of sports. That's why I had to be in on this New Year's Day. Couldn't take this one off. Couldn't sit this one out. Feel like I just went to bed. We had late night service at our church. Hey, Coco Chanel, Happy New Year's to you as well. And man, I'm trying to tell you, we brought the presents in a great fashion. So I don't mind being a little tired today, but we're gonna get this one in. There's a football game going on right now between Georgia and Cincinnati. That one's going on right now, 7-7. Cincinnati and Georgia tied up. And again, I'm rooting for Cincinnati to just beat the behind off of an SEC team to let the SEC know you ain't nothing. It's 2021, man. We ain't scared of nobody. You know, listen, we talking about the Bulldogs like we talking about the Buckeyes. You know what I mean? Yap. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but man, listen, don't be afraid of the people with the bigger platform. Don't be afraid of the people with the bigger following. Don't be afraid of the teams with the better record. Play your game. You play your game. And let's see how it comes out. I ain't scared of no doggone Georgia. And then later on today, you got number 1 Alabama versus number 4 Notre Dame in the they're in the Rose Bowl, but that game is going to be played in Arlington, in Jerry's World. And I'm telling you what, I've been dogging Notre Dame. Doggone Notre Dame, you rise up today. If you ain't scared of Alabama, then go on and beat them. You know what I mean? Everybody talking about Ian Book being the best quarterback in Notre Dame history. Prove it, bro. Get out there and snatch one from Goliath. Get out there and snatch one from Goliath. I ain't going to be mad. In fact, I'll put on some blue and gold if they mess around and get one. And then you got, after that, in the Sugar Bowl, you got number 2 Clemson versus number 3, The Ohio State University. And again, everybody done penciled Clemson and Alabama in the national championship game. Well, I'll tell you what, Notre Dame, you be about your business. You be about your business. Don't let them punk you today in that doggone Rose Bowl. You score your points and look up at the scoreboard at the end of the game and see who got the most of them. You mess around and get to that championship game. And Ohio State, let me just tell you something. You owe Clemson. Ohio State fans all over the world have been waiting on this game after last year's situation where Ohio State had Clemson on the ropes. And if it's not for a couple of bad calls and a couple of bad decisions, it's a whole different story. But, you know, you got some folks, they don't come up with nothing new. They don't know nothing new. They don't do nothing new. All they do is go with the easy bets. They go with the easy teams, Clemson and Alabama. I said it like I was yawning because it ain't nothing new. It's nothing exciting. And, you know, I know it's Freestyle Friday. I'm kind of freestyling a little bit already. But something hit me right before I came on the air. The College Football Playoff Committee is not obligated to match up the best teams in the playoffs. They're not obligated to match up the 4 best teams. They're obligated to make sure that they put the product on the field, in their opinion, that makes the most money. That's their obligation. When they went to these schools and said, hey, let us replace the BCS, the Bowl Championship Series, one of the things that they sold them on was, and you'll make a lot of money. You'll make a lot of money. In other words, I assume that the most important thing was to have the 4 best teams compete to be the 2 best teams and have them battle it out to be the best team. I assumed, like many folks, that was the number 1 priority. Hey, Carolyn Richards, Happy New Year to you too. But the number 1 priority was them making a bunch of money. So right now, the schools that generate a bunch of money are Alabama and Clemson. So in other words, you got 2 schools that are always going to be in it unless they do something crazy to get out of it. And then you'll have somebody like Oklahoma or Ohio State, but that 4th team, that's not obligated to be a Cincinnati that's undefeated and having to settle to play against Georgia because the College Football Committee won't allow them to be a part of this playoff scenario. Or that's not a Coastal Carolina that was undefeated before they had to play a meaningless bowl against, you know, who they play, Liberty or somebody like that. You know, UCF a couple of years ago when they were undefeated, there was no obligation by the College Football Committee to put the best teams with the best records in that playoff scenario. They are looking at the dollars and cents. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. If folks are not going to pay to see Cincinnati take on Alabama, guess what? They won't put Cincinnati in that game against Alabama. They will find a illogically justifiable reason to put a team in that just lost by double digits to another team in the playoffs and put them right back in, Notre Dame. So if I'm Notre Dame, I don't play their game. Notre Dame raises its own money. Notre Dame is a school and a program that has its own TV deal. They're not part of the SEC network. They're not part of the Big Ten network. They play an ACC schedule, but they got their own TV deal and have had it for years. So if I'm Notre Dame, I'm like, man, please, we ain't going along. Listen, we're not gonna fight into the 4th round and then take a dive. If I'm Notre Dame, I come in that joker trying to win it. If I'm Notre Dame, I just mess up everybody's plans. You know, you got that one friend. Well, you probably left them back in 2020 because, you know, everybody's leaving stuff back in 2020. That one friend that when they get in, they mess up everything for everybody. If I'm Notre Dame and I'm Ohio State, that's what I'm doing today. I'm just going to mess up their plans. Let them figure it out. We in here. Oh, yeah. And run me my check. What am I supposed to get for playing these games? Right. Run me my check. Do I get another one for the next game? Because I need a check for that too. Heavenly Hughes, the Rose Bowl being played in Texas was a big upset and controversial in our city here in Pasadena. The community here was quite upset with Pasadena City Council for agreeing to allow the Rose Bowl game to be played out there. I bet you were. I bet you were. And hear me when I say my thoughts and prayers are going out to California with all the uptick in COVID-19 cases. I understand there has been a serious rise in cases, hospitalizations, and unfortunately deaths. And I also understand that there have been a couple of cases with the new strain that was found over in the UK. So again, Heavenly, you know me. You know I'm praying for the whole city and the whole state. So I'm right there. I'm right there. All right. So anyway, we're going to talk about those games today. But what we're also going to do today, we're going to count down the top 20 sporting events from 2021. I mean, from 2020. Jada, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the Mississippi State Tulsa thing. Again, it was a bowl game that shouldn't be played. Mississippi State, Tulsa, I'm not even going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. There's enough folks pontificating about it on their various platforms. I know you're not going to convince Mississippi State that they were wrong. You're not going to convince Tulsa that they were wrong. And you certainly are not going to convince the fans that their respective schools were wrong. Just not going to happen. And the respective conferences are not going to do anything about it either. So I'm certainly not going to spend my time trying to figure out something that ain't going to make sense. So it was ugly, should have happened, and that's it. That's all I got. All right. So anyway, let me get back to it. We're going to count down the top 20 sporting events in 2020. Top 20 sporting events in 2020. And I'm even going to give you a couple of honorable mentions because there was a lot that went on in the world of sports in 2020. And we're going to talk about that right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. This segment is brought to you by the tax doctor, Lily, and the good folks over at the tax doctor are bringing in this segment. So tell you what, man, heading into 2021, get your money right. Get your money right. If you owe the IRS and you can't afford to pay them, I need you to listen up right here on the lunch break.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less.
800-605-1681. 800-605-1681. That's 800-605-1681.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, we're back here at it on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Freestyle Friday, first Freestyle Friday of 2021. So glad to have y'all here. Gina Fleming, love you, Black and Gold sister. Man, I'm praying that the Pittsburgh Steelers pull it out some kind of way. Some kind of way. I'm praying that they pull it out because, I just want to, kind of mess things up a little bit heading into 2021. All right, so as I said before the break on this Freestyle Friday, we are going to get into the top 20 plays, for 2020. And there was so much that happened in 2020 that it was hard to put in every single thing. In fact, I had to get a couple of honorable mentions. One of the honorable mentions that is near and dear to my heart as I wear my Black King shirt was Naomi Osaka. Naomi Osaka, who is the #1 tennis player in the world right now, literally protested at several WTA events. And after she protested one particular event where she literally stopped playing, when she came back to the next tournament, Naomi was killing them, wearing Breonna Taylor masks, wearing Ahmaud Arbery t-shirts, wearing anything to let them know this is not going away. And that's not something that you normally saw on the WTA. Because if you think about it, aside from Venus and Serena, aside from Coco Gauff, aside from a couple of other players, the sport is predominantly white and European. Predominantly. You know, of course, you've got Russian, you've got some other countries, but the hue, if you will, is not black. There's very little melanin, if you will. And for Naomi to be the top tennis player in the world, to put herself out there like that was honorable, in my opinion. And I'll be honest with you, it's 2021. It's the first day of it. So I apologize if my respect level ain't as high as it should be right now. I don't care if other folks don't respect what she did. I respect what she did. So she is definitely an honorable mention for one of the most memorable sporting events in 2020. What Naomi Osaka did was right on, baby. Right on, right on. One of the other honorable mentions, got to give love to the ladies, was on October the 6th, when the Seattle Storm completed the sweep of the Las Vegas Aces to win the WNBA title. And then again, I got to give love to the WNBA because they led a lot of the protests against social injustice, against people of color, Black people, and racial inequalities. And they got very little attention for it. They got very little attention for you. They would not let us forget the name Breonna Taylor. They will not let us forget the name Tatiana in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I gotta give a lot of love to the ladies of the WNBA. Yeah, congratulations on surviving the bubble. Congratulations on keeping your season going, but congratulations on keeping the dream alive. Speaking of the dream, they even went after one of the owners of the WNBA, and that's Kelly Loeffler, the part owner of the Atlanta Dream. They are not done. They literally are registering people to vote. They literally are getting people to the polls to make sure that that lady gets voted out because of her insensitive, biased feelings against Black people. So I got to give a lot of love to the ladies of the WNBA. Okay, so those are just a couple of the honorable mentions. All right, with that said, let me get to number 20. Number 20 is kind of heartbreaking to those of us in the city of Houston. If you are from the city of Houston or you love the one of the teams here in the city of Houston, this one's gonna hurt.
Shotgun. Murray out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray hits it downfield. It's caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins. Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
I got to turn it off because it is breaking my heart. That is when Kyler Murray taking on the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Buffalo Bills on the last play of the game rolls to his left, gets over by the sidelines, is avoiding the rush, and throws up what is definitely known as a Hail Mary, only to have it caught in the end zone by the guy that shouldn't have even been there. This guy shouldn't have even been in a Cardinal uniform because it's no other than DeAndre Hopkins. So while I'm happy for Kyler Murray, while I'm happy for DeAndre Hopkins, I'm not calling him D-Hop anymore. That's crazy. Forget that, y'all. Some crazy reporter here in Houston came up with that. While I'm happy for Nuke, I hate that play even happened. Why? Because he shouldn't have been there. That's number 20. That is number 20. All right, so let me take another quick break. We're going to take another quick break, and then I'll be back with more of the top 20 in 2020 right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Freestyle Friday, again, on the lunch break. Dr. Aki, I see you right there. Do me a favor, Dr. Aki, call me right back. Let me get this tax doctor on, and we'll get back to Dr. Aki Davis in just a minute on the lunch break.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they were able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay.
Bruh, you're killing me. Hold on, y'all.
Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-605-1681. 800-605-1681. That's 800-605-1681. $1,000 or more.
We need to be mindful of everyone's health and safety when planning family gatherings. Make a plan and share it with your guests. Get tested at one of the many free testing sites within the city. Continue to be vigilant. Wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and social distance so you can enjoy your time together with peace of mind. Protecting our loved ones is the most important thing for all of us. Mask up, Houston. We're better together.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Freestyle Friday. It is the first show of 2021. I'm AJ Jones, and Dr. Aki Davis has called me a couple of times. This is going to be dangerous, but I'm going to call him back, and I'm going to put him on the air, and we'll see what he's talking about. He might have some breaking news on the Rockets or something. Let's see what we got. Hey, Dr. Aki, you live on the lunch break. You called me a couple of times. What's happening, guy?
Hey, what's up, AJ?
What's happening?
Oh, man, I was just calling. Wish you Happy New Year.
Oh, man, you know what, Doc? I got to say thank you, man. All of the millions and millions of listeners all around the world on the lunch break are listening to you, giving me some of that Black King love. Thank you, man.
Oh, yeah, man. You deserve it, man. Just have a good year and stay safe, man.
Listen to me, bro. There ain't nobody grinding harder than you. I know James Brown was the hardest working man in show business, but, bro, you the hardest working man with them books, man.
Man, I gotta be, AJ. You know, that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, I ain't mad to it. I ain't mad about it because you ain't new to it. You true to it, Dr. Aki.
I gotta keep pushing, man.
Well, listen, man, tell everybody where they can find your book and where they can get it if they ain't out there in them streets with you.
Okay. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Page Turner, Page, Turner, TURNER 0823.
All right, brother. I appreciate that. How surprised were you that the Rockets got their first win last night?
I wasn't really surprised. I mean, they were playing shorthanded the first two games. So John Wall looks amazing. I'm really glad to see him look so well.
Yeah, I am too, man. I like what I see out of Christian Wood. I definitely like what I see out of Jashawn Tate, man. They got some talent right now with the Rockets. I got to give Stone some love.
Yeah, you definitely do. I agree with you. I like the way Christian Wood has been. You know, he looks like an all-star.
Yeah, what I like is you can see that hustle in his heart, man. It's not just out there on the court. You can see that hustle in his heart. Christian Wood got a whole different attitude about it right now.
Yeah, he's definitely good. And I think Harden eventually, if we keep playing well and we start racking up some wins, I think he may change his mind about wanting to getting out of here.
Yeah, I'm already starting to hear reports that he may be doing that. So, I'm not going to be mad if he does. Hey, brothers and sisters fight all the time, but they stay connected.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Hey, listen, speaking of brothers, reach out to our other brother, John Foster, and let him know the number love for him over here on the lunch break.
Okay, sure will.
All right, Aki, have a great one, man. Happy and blessed 2021 to you, man.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Dr. Aki Davis, y'all had to get that love from him, man. That's a good dude. He's one of the many that I have to say thank you to for all the love they gave us in 2020 and 2020. Him and John Foster, myself on Thursdays used to run the Sports Fellas, and it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. So, again, I want to appreciate him for calling in. We're doing our top 20 countdown right now. We got number 20 out of the way. We got a couple of honorable mentions, but let's go ahead and get to number 19. And it went down just like this.
Buda Baker out in front. Can Metcalf track him down? Can he chase him down? And he does to save a touchdown. But what a play by Baker. Intended for Carson. Wilson lofted it. We had mentioned Baker's name tonight on a defensive play. There he is.
Look at what happens. They're all right there. They come snap to the line of scrimmage to try and get it off quickly so that he got confused on the defensive side. Buda Baker did not. But watch the play here by DK Metcalf. He is flying down the field. Baker thinks he's going to walk into the end zone, and Metcalf just refused to let it go. It was unbelievable how much ground he made up. That had to be 10 yards on a very fast Buda Baker, and he just tracked him. It was just...
All right, let me break that down for you. That was the Philadelphia Eagles. That was the Seattle Seahawks against the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks, Russell Wilson threw an interception that was picked off by Buda Baker on about the 3-yard line of Seattle, about to go into the 3-yard line of Arizona. Seattle was about to go in for a touchdown. Buda Baker thought he had a pick six, was going to take it all the way from the 3 to the end zone, which would have made it what? A 97-yard interception. But DK Metcalf would not let it be. He ran that man down almost 100 yards and tackled him on about the 7-yard line before he scored a touchdown. Ain't nobody seen nothing like that in a long time. And as a former wide receiver, I ain't got nothing but love for DK Metcalf. Brother, speed, agility, and want to. That's what that is right there. So congratulations to DK Metcalf. You got on the lunch breaks, number 19, most memorable play in the year of 2020. Number 18. Number 18 was kind of shocking. Number 18 took place on March the 17th. And that's when the NCAA announced the cancellation of March Madness. Now, come on, y'all, think about it. I don't know if we got some older folks on here or not, but I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. Never seen anything like that in my life. And this was in March, so it was near the beginning of everything going on with the coronavirus. And you got to understand, March Madness brings in anywhere from $600 to $800 million just for the tournament itself. All those teams playing basketball. On the men's side, I'm not even sure if that includes the women's side, generate about $600 to $800 million for college basketball. And guess what? They canceled it. That was shocking because there were teams that literally were on the court in their conference tournaments. And they literally pulled them off the courts and said, hey, not only are we not going to finish these conference tournaments, but we're not going to play the March Madness tournament. And they also canceled the rest of the spring sports that were yet to begin. So again, that took place, winter and spring sports, that took place on March 17th. That's the 18th most memorable moment in sports of 2020, according to me in the lunch break. Number 17. Number 17 was this one right here. And it really shocked me too. Here we go.
It has been a difficult time for our country, in particular, Black people in our country. First, my condolences to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the families who have endured police brutality. We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of Black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be part of the much needed change in this country. Without Black players, there would be no National Football League. And the protests around the country are emblematic of the centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of Black players, coaches, fans, and staff. We are listening. I am listening. And I will be reaching out to players who have raised their voices and others on how we can improve and go forward for a better and more united NFL family.
That was Commissioner Roger Goodell when on June the 6th of 2020 released a video that I never thought in my lifetime I would hear a commissioner of a major sport, football, basketball, or baseball, ever say. Roger Goodell did it. I know a lot of folks are critical of it. I think I myself at times have been critical of the video. But one thing I can't say is that he didn't say it. Whether he meant it or not, whether they followed up with it or not, whether they did enough about it after the fact or not, is a whole different discussion for another time. But I gotta acknowledge the fact that he said it. Commissioner Roger Goodell said it. Now, that's number 17. The reason why he said it is because of number 16.
It's been 10 days since George Floyd was brutally murdered.
How many times do we need to ask you to listen to your players?
What will it take for one of us to be murdered by police brutality?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd.
If I was George Floyd. If I was George Floyd.
I am George Floyd.
I am Breonna Taylor.
I am Ahmaud Arbery. I am Eric Gordon.
I am Laquan McDonald.
I am Tamir Rice.
I am Trayvon Martin.
I am Walter Scott.
I am Michael Brown Jr.
I am Samuel Du Bois.
I am Frank Smart. I'm Philip White.
I'm Jordan Baker.
We will not be silenced.
We assert our right to
Peacefully protest.
It shouldn't take this long to admit. So, on behalf of the National Football League,
This is what we, the players,
Would like to hear you state.
we, the National Football League,
Condemn racism and the systematic oppression of Black people.
we, the National Football League,
admit wrong and silencing our players from peacefully protesting.
we, the National Football League,
Believe Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black lives matter.
Yep. Number 17 was Commissioner Roger Goodell releasing his video talking about Black Lives Matter. He did that on June the 6th. The reason why he did it is because the players released theirs on June the 5th. And those were not just any players. Those were the best players of their respective teams. You had Pat Mahomes in there. You had Ezekiel Elliott in there. You had Deshaun Watson in there. You had all of the best players from their respective teams saying, listen, it is way too long for the NFL to have been silent on these things. It is way too long for the NFL to have been silencing players having peaceful protests, specifically pointing at the way the NFL did Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed and others. And if you don't know the backstory to that, you got to dig into it. I don't really have time to get into it here, but it was literally a media guy that worked for the NFL that got with the players and said, hey, I know how we can force them to respond, got with the players, put that video together, and then released it. And you know what the NFL had to do? Respond. Because the power of the league from the player side made a stand, and it made some impact. It definitely made some impact. So at number 16 on our top 20 sporting events from 2020 was when the players released a very provocative and compelling Black Lives Matter video. Number 15. And Cowboy fans, I sure hate to do this to you. But number 15 was when the Dallas Cowboys fired Jason Garrett on January the 5th, 2020. Jason Garrett had just led the team to another mediocre year. They were 8-8. But the difference this time was they missed the playoffs. And I mean, Jerry drugged that thing out longer than most folks expected and longer than most folks wanted. I think folks wanted Jerry to fire Jason immediately. But the reality was, and I said this on the lunch break, Jerry Jones didn't want to fire Jason Garrett. He had to. He didn't want to fire him, whether we agreed with it or not, whether we understood it or not, because he and Jason had a relationship that no people can understand. And I'm not talking about pictures of this and this of that and whatever. I'm talking about he cared about that coach. And he ultimately had to fire him. Jason Garrett was 8-8 for that season. But watch this. As a Cowboy head coach, he had 85 wins and 67 losses from 2011 through 2019. And I think most Cowboy fans would say that was mediocre. Well, guess what? The Cowboys are on the clock right now with a new head coach who is nowhere near that. And oh yeah, by the way, that Super Bowl championship that he has was in Green Bay, not down there in Arlington. All right, so number 15 was when the Cowboys fired Jason Garrett. Number 14. Again, this is more of a homer. This really should have been an honorable mention. But I'll do 13. In fact, I'll do 12, 13, and 14 together. Can we do it like that? It's my show. I'll do it like that anyway. At number 13 was on February the 3rd when the Astros hired James Click to be their new general manager. You might say, what's the big deal about that? Well, it came after on January 29th, the Astros hired Dusty Baker. Yeah, they hired Dusty Baker. That's number 13. And 14 and 13 happened because of number 12. Number 12 on January the 13th of 2020 was when the Astros fired manager A.J. Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow. For what? Cheating. Cheating to win the 2017 World Series championship. Stealing signs. Oh, but AJ, everybody steals signs. Yeah. Well, guess what? Y'all are the only dummies that got caught. You're not even good at it because you got caught. And through whatever investigation, I'm not going back to relitigate it, rehash it. Through whatever investigation they did, they determined that Jeff Luhnow knew about it and that AJ Hinch should have done more about it. And what they did was they promised immunity to the players to get the information that they needed to know who to punish. And guess what? They decided to punish the general manager and the head coach. So again, number 12 was January 13th. January 13th when the Astros fired manager AJ Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow for cheating. Number 13 was when they hired Dusty Baker on January 29th. And then number 14 was when they hired James Click, the new general manager, on February the 3rd. All right, that brings us up to number 11. And I will, I'll get to that one in a second. Let me take a quick break. If you are one of the millions that does not have health insurance, you do not have health insurance, I want you to listen up. You don't have to go without health insurance. You do not have to be without health insurance. There's a group out there that specialize in finding good, realistic health insurance for good people, and they're called the Care Team. And they care so much about you, they've set up a confidential hotline for you to get health insurance, even if you don't have it right now. The number 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377. Or you can go to the website, careteamcares.com. But here's more information. Here's Margaret with her testimony.
Hello, my name is Margaret, and I'm not a paid actor. I'm simply a very satisfied customer that has received good advice from the Care Team Insurance. Without the help from the Care Team, we would not have had health insurance. The Care Team has saved my daughter's life.
This is one of the many great results of Care Team's efforts. Don't get caught with bad or no insurance at all. Let Care Team assist you with our free enrollment assistance program. Call now. 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without medical insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to $50 per month. Care Team has helped thousands of people just like you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377, or visit careteamcares.com.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all. We are back on The Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I am here with you in 2021, and you are here in 2021, too. This is our first show of the year, and I am excited, man. Happy and blessed New Year to you and yours from us here at KYOK and the Lunch Break family, the Lunch Break crew, as they like to be called. Apparently, Cincinnati just scored a touchdown. It's under review. Let's see. Looks like he caught that in the end zone and then slid out of the end zone due to his momentum. That's a touchdown. Cincinnati about to take a 13-10 lead pending the extra point. And we'll see if Cincinnati can hold on and beat Georgia in whatever bowl this is. I don't care what the name of the bowl is. I just want a non-SEC team to beat one of the top SEC teams so folks can hush about, oh, the SEC is so much better than anybody else. All right, so anyway, we're doing our top 20 countdown. Let me just kind of recap what we've done so far. Honorable mention was Naomi Osaka with her protests at WTA events, protesting the police brutality and murders of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and Tatiana and other folks at the hands of police. Also honorable mention was the Seattle Storm completing the sweep of the Las Vegas Aces to win the WNBA title, but their work in protesting racial injustice against Black people. And then at number 20, we had the what I call the Hail Mary that shouldn't have been, when DeAndre Hopkins caught the Hail Mary pass from Kyler Murray as Arizona beat Buffalo on the last play of the game. And then after that was, of course, the DK Metcalf walk down of Buda Baker after he intercepted a Russell Wilson pass on the 3-yard line, and DK Metcalf ran him down before he got to the end zone. So that was number 19. Number 18 was on March 17th when the NCAA announced its cancellation of the entire March Madness basketball tournament and all of their winter and spring sports. Number 17 was when NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell released a Black Lives Matter video on June the 6th. Number 16 was on June the 5th when the top NFL players from respective teams put together a very provocative and compelling and impossible to ignore Black Lives Matter video where they made the NFL answer some demands. Number 15 was when the Cowboys fired Jason Garrett on January the 5th after they went 8-8 and missed the playoffs. Number 14 was when the Astros hired James Click as their new general manager on February the 3rd. Number 14 was when the Astros hired Dusty Baker, one of my favorite Major League Baseball managers of all time. They hired him on January the 29th. And then, of course, on number 12, January 13th was when the Astros fired manager A.J. Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow for their role in the cheating scandal during the 2017 World Series championship. All right, so right now at the halftime of this bowl game, it is Cincinnati up on Georgia 14-10. Cincinnati undefeated, should be in the college football playoffs, but they're in some meaningless bowl game against Georgia, but they taking it serious. They going to make Georgia come up with some excuses like Florida did after they got their behinds beat by Oklahoma in that bowl game. Man, that Florida coach, Dan Mullins, is a joke. That Florida coach is a joke, bro. You got more excuses than an ice machine has ice cubes. Like, bruh, what is your deal? You didn't get your team ready to play. You got your behind beat by LSU in a game that you needed to win, and here you are with more excuses. Good job, Cincinnati. Good job. All right. So anyway, here's number 11. Number 11 for the most meaningful, memorable sporting events in 2020 was when Bubba Wallace on June the 10th had to deal with the fallout of somebody else finding a pull rope in his garage at a NASCAR racetrack event that was tied in the shape of a noose. Now, Bubba Wallace did not find the noose tied pull rope. One of the members of his crew did, took a picture of it, called the officials from NASCAR over. They saw it and also thought that's not right, and literally began to make systematic changes inside their own sport. And on June the 10th, 2020, they decided no more Confederate flags at their racing events, at their buildings, at anything connected officially with NASCAR. And guess what? People blamed Bubba Wallace. I'll say this, I'm proud of NASCAR for what they did. That took a lot of guts. It did. It should have been done a long time ago. Please, all my woke brothers and sisters, don't hit me up. It's 2021. Give me a week, okay? But it took a lot of guts because that's where a good portion of their money comes from. But they said no more. That doesn't represent who we are, and that is not the direction that we want to go in. And oh yeah, by the way, they did the research. They checked all of their garages. And in all of their garages, only a couple of them had pull ropes even tied in some kind of knot or some kind of loop. But only in one of them, oddly enough, coincidentally, only in one of them, the one used by Bubba Wallace in that event, was that pull rope tied in the form of a noose. Now, you know, there's some that say, well, you don't know who's going to get to the garage until the day of the event. And that rope had been tied like that for, you know, a year or so before. It doesn't change the fact that somebody thought, oh yeah, for the best way for me to pull this garage door down is to tie this thing like this. And it just happened to subconsciously get tied in the form of a noose. The things in 2020 that people argued as okay. That's number 11. That's number 11. All right. I got a couple of more honorable mentions. In fact, I'm going to take liberty to tie a couple of others at number 11. Or at least tie one more. No, it's my show. I can do two more at number 11. At number 11 also was on October the 5th, 2020. A date that me and Keith Hennig are probably going to celebrate with some potato juice. That's the day that the Houston Texans decided enough was enough. On October the 5th, I think a phone call happened like this. Hey, Bill? Yeah. Who is it? It's Cal. Oh, hey, Cal. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for the next game. Yeah, Bill, about that. You're not. I'm not what? You're not getting ready for the next game. Yeah, I am. I'm right in the middle of film study and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm about to negotiate a new contract because, you know, I'm the general manager too. Yeah, about that too? You're not. I'm not what? You're not the general manager or the head coach anymore. What are you saying, Cal? I'm saying you're fired. I'm saying you went to an Ivy League school, but you're kind of slow. You're fired. What do you mean I'm fired? We're just starting the season. Yeah, remember you told me that you knew how to turn this thing around and you knew who to hire and who to put in place and who to draft and who to sign contracts with. It doesn't look like it's working, so I'm done. But you can't be done. I'm done. Click. Back in the day when we had handheld landlines, you'd be talking to dial tone. You'd be like, but wait, but did he just hang up on me? Yep. Now you can pretend like, hey, Cal, I just want to call you back. Our cell phones got disconnected. I want to finish our conversation. No, it didn't get disconnected. I hung up on you. Conversation over. Don't even clean out your stuff. We'll mail it to you. A couple of people are walking up behind you now to get you out of my building. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm not going to cuss you out like apparently you've been cussing other people out when you fired them. So God bless you. We'll see you at church Sunday. You singing? Hey man, October 5th is going to be a date that I'm not saying I'm going to celebrate, but I'm not going to just let it slide. I've been telling y'all since before this man got in there good like he did. I've been telling y'all since before this man got in there good like he did that this brother was the wrong dude for the job. But no. Y'all didn't want to believe me. Y'all didn't want to believe me. So again, tied at number 11, October 5th, when the Texans announced the firing of head coach / general manager Bill O'Brien as they started 0-4. And I got to give love to Ferdinand, caller of the year from 2017. Ferdinand said this team's only going to win 4 games. Guess how many wins they got right now? Let me check. They might have 5. Did they have 5, Ferdinand? You're still close, bro. I'm not gonna jack you up because you're 1 or 2 off. The Texans have 4 wins. that dude, first caller on the show, first caller of the year in 2017. Ferdinand, we're going on 4 years now, bro. Anyway, he said they're gonna have 4 wins, and guess what they got? So, yeah. All right. At number 10, just like I'm going to celebrate October 5th a little bit, March 16th is a date that will live in infamy. Oh my gosh, just thinking about it brings tears to my eyes. Is somebody cutting up onions? It was on March 16th, 2020. That the Houston Texans announced that they were trading all-pro, all-world wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals, along with a 4th-round pick in return for David Johnson, a 2nd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick in 2021. Can you hear me on everything I love? On everything I love. That's the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. And I mean, bar none. And I've heard some crazy stuff. But I mean it. They better be glad that I am not the owner. They better be glad that my name is not Cal McNair. Because as soon as they came to me and said, hey, we got a great idea. Okay, cool. What's your idea? We're going to trade DeAndre. You're going to do what? We're going to trade DeAndre. For what? Well, got some issues off the field. It's got too many baby mamas. I hate that phrase, baby mamas. He's got too many children with too many other women. It's not a good look for the organization. You're going to do what? Yeah, we're going to trade him. To who? Arizona. Okay, we getting Kyler Murray? We got a quarterback. No. We're going to trade him for David Johnson. Who? David Johnson. Who? David Johnson. You remember David Johnson? Tampa, great, awesome. No, I don't. I don't remember that David Johnson. Where's he been? Well, he's with Arizona now, and we can get him, but we got to give up a 4th-round pick with DeAndre. You got to do what? And we're going to get back what? We're going to get David Johnson, and we're going to get a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick in 2021. So you mean to tell me we're not even getting a 1st-rounder for one of the top 3 receivers in the whole league? If I had been the owner, everybody in that conversation, not named me, would have been fired. Tell y'all what we're going to do. Leave that alone. Don't call Arizona back. Leave it alone. Don't do another thing except get out. And I don't mean just get out of my office. I mean get out of the building and don't ever come back. But no, instead of doing that, they made the guy the general manager. They made him the head man in charge. They put him over everything. But it was March 16th when that foolishness went down, when the Texans announced that they were trading all-pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals, along with a 4th-round draft pick for David Johnson, a 2nd-round pick, and a 2021 4th-round pick. So that's number 10. That's number 10. All right, got to take a break and hit the top of the hour. And when we come back, I'll give you the top 10 events that happened in the world of sports in 2021. right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. In fact, we are KYOK AM 1140 and FM 92.3 Conroe, Houston, and streaming live on kyokradio.org.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. We ready. We ready. We ready. We ready. I'm about to. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. It's too much crying from him. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. It's a wrap. Game over.
That's right. First hour on the books, second hour underway right here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is the very first show of 2021 here on the lunch break, and it is our Freestyle Friday. And, man, I'm enjoying it because we're counting down the top 20 sporting events in 2021. I mean, in 2020. They haven't happened in 2021 yet, but in 2020, let me go back over them real quick. At number 20 was DeAndre Hopkins and the Hail Mary touchdown pass, Arizona against the Buffalo Bills. At number 19 was DK Metcalf running down Buda Baker after Buda intercepted a pass on the 3-yard line and was taking it all the way back to the house, and DK Metcalf ran his tail down, walked him down. That was at number 18. That was at number 19, I'm sorry. At number 18 was on March the 17th when March Madness was canceled by the NCAA. At number 17, June 6th, when NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell released his Black Lives Matter video. At number 16 was June 5th, when the NFL players released their Black Lives Matter video, causing Roger Goodell at number 17 to release his a day later. At number 15 was when the Cowboys fired Jason Garrett on January the 5th after going 8-8 and missing the playoffs. At number 14 was when the Astros hired James Click as their new general manager because Jeff Luhnow had gotten fired. At number 13, the Astros hiring Dusty Baker on January 29th because A.J. Hinch got fired. At number 12, on January 13th, the Astros fired manager A.J. Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow for their role in the cheating scandal with the Astros in 2017. At number 11, Bubba Wallace having to deal with a pull rope tied in the shape of a noose, and NASCAR banning Confederate flags from all of their events, buildings, and anything to do with NASCAR officially. That was on June the 10th, 2020. Also at number 11 was October the 5th, when the Houston Texans fired head coach and general manager Bill O'Brien after an 0-4 start. At number 11, on March 16th, the Texans announced they were trading all-pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals, along with a 4th-round draft pick for David Johnson, a 2nd-round pick, and a 2021 4th-round pick. That's number 11. All right, so we're in hour number 2, and let's go ahead and get to our top 10. Let's go ahead and get to our top 10. All right, we ready? Here's what happened on October the 27th. October the 27th. Yeah, I know you don't know what this is. I know you don't know what this is, but let me tell you what it is. I tell you what, let me go to a different one.
One of these teams
Here we go.
won a great World Series. Strike one on Willie Adames. I don't think I've ever done a Major League Baseball game and not thought of my dad, but it's impossible to not think of the 92-year-old Vin Scully, the greatest to ever do it. Started with the Dodgers in 1950, retired 4 years ago. That is strike two. 67 years of his life he poured into the Dodger organization, and you know he's watching and rooting. Ownership, Andrew Friedman, Dave Roberts. Strike three. Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
That is when the LA Dodgers on October the 27th completed a 4-2 win and 3-1 win in Game 6 of the World Series and defeated the Tampa Rays to win their, 7th overall World Series title and their first World Series championship in 32 years. Now, I thought Mookie Betts should have been the World Series MVP. He didn't get it. But the controversy after the game was the fact that Justin Turner got pulled out of the game due to a positive test for COVID-19, but he and his wife came out of the locker room to interact with the players as they were celebrating their World Series championship, and then literally was sitting right next to the manager who is a cancer survivor. And I get it. There are some people that didn't, at that time didn't believe in COVID-19 and, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. But Dave Roberts had underlying health conditions and easily could have transmitted COVID-19 and had some real complications because of the thinking of Justin Turner. But again, the overall remembrance of that day, October 27th, LA Dodgers beat the Tampa Rays 3-1 to win their first World Series championship in 32 years. All right, that's at number 10. Number nine. It was April the 23rd, and it was when the NFL held its first ever NFL draft via virtual video conferences. They literally had general managers, head coaches, and in the case of the Dallas Cowboys, owners in their own respective locations. Jerry Jones was on a yacht. And they'd set up all the technology that they needed so that when they called the name of their player, they cut over to the player wherever they were in the world, and they showed them with their family and close friends after hearing their name announced virtually on the first ever virtual NFL draft. I thought it was kind of interesting myself. A couple of the coaches, man, pretty funny with the way they had their family there and the way they had stuff going on in the background. And it was kind of crazy, but it overall was a pretty good situation. I think if they hadn't tried so hard on the incorporation of Black Lives Matter and, you know, some of the videos that they were trying to add to that, I think it would have had more value. But again, overall, I think it was a good deal. Real quick, Cincinnati has scored again in this bowl game on a 79-yard touchdown run by running back Ford. And right now, the Bearcats are up 20-10 on Georgia, the SEC Bulldogs. Yeah, Keith Hennig, that was definitely a good underline on that April 23rd NFL draft, virtual draft, when CeeDee Lamb got picked by the Dallas Cowboys, and they cut over to CeeDee Lamb's house, and he's on the phone with his, I guess, agent. Or no, he's on the phone with Jerry Jones of the Cowboys. And his girlfriend, I don't know if she's still his girlfriend, but his girlfriend sees his other phone ringing, and she decides, oh, I'm going to go ahead and answer it. And CeeDee Lamb, without even looking over, got that phone from her, and then he cut his eyes to her like, child, please, this is my night. This is my night. That was also the night when the one NFL player got drafted, and his girlfriend was sitting on his lap, and she just hugging him, and she hugging his head and everything. And Mama finally snatched her tail up off his lap, like, girl, move. This ain't your night. It was interesting, man. It was interesting. So anyway, at number 9, April 23rd, the NFL held its first ever virtual draft. All right, here we go. Oh, man, I got to take a break. When we come back, we'll come back with number 8. We'll come back with number 8 right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. This segment is being brought to you by Lily and the Tax Doctor. So if you got tax problems, don't worry about those in 2021. You make sure you call Lily and the Tax Doctor, because guess what they're going to do? They're going to take care of you and your tax problems. Again, courtesy of the lunch break.
My name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-605-1681. 800-605-1681. That's 800-605-1681.
As the coronavirus is ravaging our community, make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you with our...
Are you being audited? And do you owe the
medical enrollment assistance program? Call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month. Care Team has helped thousands of people just like you by providing free enrollment assistance. Don't be taken advantage of by people selling bad or fake insurance. Make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for. Plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377. Or visit careteamcares.com.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and Cincinnati had just intercepted a Georgia pass, but that interception was overturned by a defensive pass interference. So right now, the score is 21-10, Cincinnati over Georgia. And man, Cincinnati defense just stopped Georgia short of a first down with 12 minutes and 50 some odd seconds left to go in the third. So plenty of time left, but right now, Cincinnati looking like they're going to stay undefeated. All right, we're making the countdown, as folks do around the new year. I'm no exception. Been doing this for years. We do a countdown of all the major sporting events for the year before, and right now we're on number 8. We're on number 8. But number 8 took place on March the 11th. March the 11th is when the NBA announced it was suspending play of its season after players tested positive for COVID-19, specifically in Utah, with Dennis Mitchell and Rudy Gobert testing positive, and they literally shut down everything. Postponed games, shut down all team facilities. And again, it started with Rudy Gobert testing positive. And then Rudy didn't quite take it serious and was in the locker room after an interview. And he had his hands on Dennis Mitchell and some of the other players. And literally everybody in the facility had to be isolated and tested. Had to be isolated and tested. And after that isolation and testing, that included media people, coaches, trainers, what have you, had to be isolated and tested. And after that, guess what? It found out Dennis Mitchell had also tested positive. And he and Rudy Gobert had some fallout behind that. It didn't go well there for a while. I remember Rudy Gobert, after several months, said that even though he was no longer positive for COVID, he still didn't have his taste or his smell. Still didn't have his taste or his smell. So, yeah, that was a tough time. And again, the NBA literally shut everything down. Shut everything down. All right, that's number 8. Number 7. Number 7 took place on August the 27th. It is when the Milwaukee Bucks refused to come out of the locker room for a 3:00 tip-off against the Orlando Magic in protest of the shooting of a young man, Jacob Blake, 7 times in the back by a police officer in Wisconsin. And their refusal to come out of the locker room to play that game literally shut down sports around the world for days. Shut down sports around the world for days. Other teams refused to play. Other players in other sports refused to play. I told you about Naomi Osaka and how she refused to play her tennis matches on the other side of the world. And it started on August the 27th when the Milwaukee Bucks said, nah, we ain't doing it. I mean, the shooting took place in Kenosha. So Milwaukee was like, well, listen, if we don't stand up for this, who is? And I do. I value and I respect their willingness to say, nah, not this time. Now, I get it. I don't have to agree with the players' decision to come back when they did. I know many, including myself, felt like they should shut the whole thing down. But they did what was best for them. I wasn't going to lose their money. and they weren't going to let me lose it for them. So I get it. But on that day and for a couple of days after that, they let the world know we will not be denied. We will not be denied. So number 7, August 27th, when the Milwaukee Bucks didn't come out of the locker room because of the protest. Let me say something real quick. This game over here is getting real interesting because Cincinnati is putting it to Georgia. Cincinnati just sacked the quarterback. And then, of course, there was some pushing and shoving back down the field, not even anywhere near the play. And, of course, these officials call a unsportsmanlike conduct on Cincinnati and something else on the Georgia player, which basically offsets, meaning they get a chance to run another play after having gotten sacked. I tell you what, man, these officials, they gonna make sure the SEC get a shot, boy. They don't want these boys from Cincinnati to get the best of this SEC school. But I tell you what, win, lose, or draw, Cincinnati is letting the SEC know we here, and we ain't scared of you. Had to get that out. All right, y'all. Let me get to this update. We got to take another quick break. I'll be right back. Again, this segment is being brought to you by Lillian, the tax doctor. Also, hear a word from the mayor right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. When we come back, we'll be at number 6. Number 6 on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-605-1681. 800-605-1681. That's 800-605-1681.
We need to be mindful of everyone's health and safety when planning family gatherings. Make a plan and share it with your guests. Get tested at one of the many free testing sites within the city. Continue to be vigilant. Wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and social distance so you can enjoy your time together with peace of mind. Protecting our loved ones is the most important thing for all of us. Mask up, Houston. We're better together.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and Cincinnati ain't playing with these Bulldogs. Cincinnati is not playing with these Bulldogs. So to take it out of the hands of the referees, what they did was they sacked the quarterback again. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they recovered a fumble. So Cincinnati ball, here we go. They're already up 21-10. So come on, Cincinnati. I don't even know what this little bowl game is. I don't even care. I do know, but I ain't saying it. I ain't giving credit to the bowl game. I'm there for the Bearcats. I'm anti-SEC right now. That's what I am. All right, let's get back to this countdown. At number six. Man, this team really showed out. I didn't pick one specific thing. I put it all in totality. At number 6 was the Miami Heat's unlikely run through the playoffs as the number 5 seed. As the number 5 seed in the Eastern Conference, all the Miami Heat did was knock off the Indiana Pacers in round 1, 4-0. In round 2, they beat the number 1 seed in the East, the Milwaukee Bucks, 4-1. Then they won the Eastern Conference Finals by beating number 3 seed Boston 4-2. And man, I tell you what, Jimmy Butler was a dog. Jimmy Butler all by himself was a whole issue in the playoffs in 2020 in the bubble. Jimmy Butler is like, look, I'll see my family when I get back. They don't need to come down to the bubble to see me. I'm at work and I'm in my business meeting. Man, I tell you, I fell in love with Jimmy Buckets Butler like crazy. Great job at number 6 by the Miami Heat with their run through the playoffs all the way to the NBA Finals. Congratulations to them. All right, at number 5. At number 5, tied to number 6, October the 4th, when LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the rest of the LA Lakers finished off the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals 4-2 to win one for the Black Mamba. Yeah, I know a lot of folks don't like that. They don't like that. Like, you know, why not win one for Dwight Howard? Why not win one for Rajon Rondo? Why not win one for, you know, all the other guys? Well, let me tell you something. LA is Kobe's town. And LeBron said after that tragic day, we got to win one for Kobe. And they finished it off on that day in October. Again, finishing off the Miami Heat 4-2. That was their 17th NBA title, and they got it done in the bubble. That's number 5. At number 4, it was January the 13th when the LSU Go Tigers beat the Clemson Tigers like they stole something. Dabo Swinney wasn't dancing that day with his non-dancing self. I'm so sick and tired of folks getting all excited when some person from a different culture looks like they can dance. Well, he wasn't dancing that night. He wasn't dancing that night because LSU put it to him. They beat Clemson 42-25 and claimed the school's 4th national championship. Congratulations, Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers on that victory at number 4. And man, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and knock these out. I'm not going to prolong it. I'm just going to knock these out. At number 3, it was February the 2nd, 2020. Kansas City taking on the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl, down 20-10 to start the 4th quarter, came all the way back and scored 21 unanswered points and beat the San Francisco 49ers for their first Super Bowl championship in 50 years. And I got to tell you, I watched that game from start to finish, and one of the things that blew my mind was the minor adjustments that had major impact from Eric Bieniemy and head coach Andy Reid. Eric Bieniemy literally put in a play from the 40s and ran it on the goal line for a touchdown, and then made a minor adjustment on a drop back. Normally, quarterbacks will do a 3-step drop, quick hit, timing route, a 5-step drop, something a little bit further down the field, or a 7-step drop to give your wide receiver a chance to get down there for the deep ball, or for them to be some type of crossing route, something like that. The San Francisco 49ers defense was not giving Patrick Mahomes time to do what he needed to do on any of those drops, 3, 5, or 7. And Eric Bieniemy went to Andy Reid and said, Coach, we got to drop him back a little bit further. Instead of 7, it's dropping back 9, maybe 10 yards. And watch what opens up from there. And sure enough, Pat Mahomes drops back 9 yards and took an extra step back, and it gave him just a little bit more time. The defense was still coming, but he had just enough time to find Tyreek Hill down the field for a long ball, big pass, and the Kansas City Chiefs went in for another touchdown after that play. It's adjustments like that that separated the Kansas City Chiefs and their play calling from a team like the Houston Texans and their play calling. Bill O'Brien's offense, Tim Kelly's offense versus Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, they could make minor adjustments like that had big impact, and the Kansas City Chiefs came all the way back from a 20-10 deficit, scoring 21 unanswered points to win that Super Bowl, 31-20, first Super Bowl victory in 50 years. That's at number 3. At number 2, January 12th, 2020. That same team I was just talking about, the Kansas City Chiefs, were trailing the Houston Texans in the first quarter. Excuse me. Let me get it right. Down 24-0 in the first quarter, and ended up leading the Texans 28-24 by the half. They literally overtook the Texans in the second quarter and scored 28 unanswered points and went on to outscore the Texans by the score of 51-7. Down 24-0 and outscore the Texans 51-7. Final score of the game was 51-31. That was a game where Bill O'Brien decided that the problem was the defense. So Romeo Crennel had to go. He wanted to fire Romeo Crennel, but the owner, Cal McNair, would not allow him to fire him and said that Romeo Crennel would be going into the front office as a consultant and as an advisor to the owner. So what does Bill O'Brien do? He worked his way into the head coach, general manager job, and brought in Anthony Weaver, longtime member of the Texans organization as a player and as a coach, and made him the defensive coordinator. Well, that didn't work out. That didn't work out at all because Anthony Weaver, no disrespect to him, was no Romeo Crennel. So that being said, all that being said, at the end of the day, Crennel got bumped up and Bill O'Brien ended up getting fired because guess what? His offense only managed 7 points in that second half. His offense didn't do anything in the second half. Oh, yeah, he had some bonehead decisions like going for it on fourth down deep into his own end zone, his end of the field that led to more Kansas City points. So, you know, Bill O'Brien could run, but he couldn't hide because that was a sign of poor coaching. All right, I'm up to number one. And here was the one that to me was the number one sporting related news stories in 2020.
A deadly helicopter crash in California, and basketball legend Kobe Bryant was one of the people killed.
The individuals that saw the aircraft said it was coming down at a fairly significant rate of speed.
Kobe and his 13-year-old daughter are confirmed to be among those that were killed in this horrible crash. Bryant was 41 years old. The NTSB says the crash happened on a hillside in Calabasas, that's in Southern California, about 30 miles west of Los Angeles.
Why the helicopter crashed, though, is still a mystery, but an investigation is underway right now. Our partners at KABC in Los Angeles say Kobe and his daughter were on their way to a travel basketball game, as well as another player and a parent who have not yet been identified. The LA County Sheriff giving an update just moments ago about how many people were on board, but not confirming any identities.
We have a manifest that indicates that there was 9 people on board the aircraft, the pilot plus 8 individuals. There is wide speculation of who the identities are. However, it is entirely inappropriate right now to identify anyone by name until the coroner has made the identification through their very deliberative process, and they've made notifications to next of kin.
The mayor, however, of Los Angeles releasing a statement on Twitter calling Kobe a giant who inspired, amazed, and thrilled people everywhere. He went on to say that Kobe will live forever in the heart of Los Angeles and will be remembered through the ages as one of our greatest heroes. The news of the crash sending shockwaves all across the basketball world.
Local 10 sports director Will Manso is live in Hollywood with more on the legacy of Kobe Bryant. Will, this is such a tragedy.
Alex and Andrew, this is something that sent shockwaves throughout the NBA as we prepare here tonight for our Super Bowl special, the Super Bowl here in South Florida, Miami. That is supposed to be the storyline of the sports world. Now, though, the death of Kobe Bryant certainly is. You're talking about one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA. The torch pass from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant, to then LeBron James. Kobe, an 18-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA player, an MVP, a 5-time champ. I could spend the entire half hour giving you his accomplishments on the court, his accomplishments off the court, a proud father, a philanthropist, and someone who impacted the game and off the court so much. And just last night, Bryant was in the news because LeBron James surpassed Bryant on the all-time scoring list, moving to 3rd place. Bryant tweeted about LeBron, the respect, the mutual admiration they have for each other. LeBron, after the game, had this to say about Bryant.
I'm happy just to be in any conversation with Kobe being Bryant, one of the all-time greatest basketball players to ever play, one of the all-time greatest Lakers. The man got 2 jerseys hanging up in Staples Center. It's just crazy.
And you heard what LeBron said there, the 2 jerseys, the 8 and 24 retired by the Lakers. Here's what Dwayne Wade tweeted a short time after the news broke of Bryant's death. "No, God, please, no." And as for the Miami Heat, they tweeted out, "Our hearts are heavy with extreme sadness at this time. We extend our deepest prayers, thoughts, and condolences to the family of Kobe Bryant and those affected in today's tragedy." And as Alex and Andrew reported off the top of the news, there are reports his daughter Gianna, 13-year-old daughter, one of 4 daughters that Brian and his wife Vanessa had, was also on that plane. And this was a video that went viral just within the last month or so of Kobe and Gianna, who is an aspiring young basketball player, very talented young player. Kobe passing his wisdom courtside to his daughter. It's a video that had millions of views and just showed the type of impact he had for his daughter, the love affair they had with the game of basketball as one of the greats. And when it came down to it, it's just a dad who loved the game and was teaching his young daughter about the game. So again, this is a shocking story. Reaction coming off from all over the NBA. The NBA tweeting a short time ago, sending their condolences to the Bryant family. Much more to come on this story. But again, Kobe Bryant dead at the age of 41.
Man, I didn't expect that to take me back like it did. It's almost like reliving it, like it just happened all over again. Especially looking at that video of him and Gianna. That by far for me was the #1 news event in the world of sports for 2020. January 26th, Sunday. I remember it like it was yesterday. Had just finished church service, was in the back, and people were kind of milling around, and somebody was there viewing the facility to rent it out. And I introduced the people that were there to view the facility to some of the members who were going to show it to them. And then I went back to my office. And a few minutes later, I came back out to, check and see how everything was going. And the group had already left, and my members that were still there, the members of the church that I pastor was still there. They said, "Hey, did you know that Kobe Bryant died?" They said that Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter accident. And I was like, immediately looked at my phone. Like, nah, I would have gotten a notification on that. I would have gotten something on that. That didn't happen. You got to be careful. A lot of folks, think that they know that stuff. And again, I do this for a living. I didn't get anything on that. And I literally walked away and was on my way back to my office. And before I could sit down in my office, I looked at my phone and there it was. And I was at that point stunned and in shock. And it was at that point that I walked back into that room with that group. And I said, "Hey, y'all, I was wrong. I just got the notification." And that's when all the misinformation came out. Somebody had said that all of his daughters were on there except for the baby, Vanessa, and he had just, had a baby not too long before that. And then there were rumors that, other guys were on the plane, like Rick Fox. And I'm indirectly connected with one of Rick Fox's daughters. So I reached out to her, and then I reached out to the person that connected me to her. And that person was able to get to her. And they were like, "Yeah, we're trying to find our dad now. We're trying to find our dad now." And then shortly after that, they got confirmation back that their dad wasn't on the plane, on the helicopter. So it was a whole lot of mixed information that had come out originally. And then finally, we got the facts that Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna or Gigi, pilot Era Zobian, baseball coach John Altobelli, his wife Carrie, their daughter Alyssa, who was also 13, Christina Mauser, who was an assistant basketball coach, and Sarah and Peyton Chester. And Sarah, the mother, Peyton, 13 years old. They were all on that plane, on that helicopter that had gone down on January the 26th. My deepest condolences continue to go out to those families, and my sincere prayers cover them, as that day will never be forgotten in their lives. All right, I got to take a break. This segment brought to you by the CARE team. If you don't have health insurance or medical insurance, listen up.
As the coronavirus is ravaging our community, make sure you have health insurance. Let CARE Team Insurance assist you with our free medical enrollment assistance program. Call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month. CARE Team has helped thousands of people just like you by providing free enrollment assistance. Don't be taken advantage of by people selling bad or fake insurance. Make sure you have health insurance. Let CARE Team Insurance assist you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for. Plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377. Or visit careteamcares.com.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. and they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-605-1681. 800-605-1681. That's 800-605-1681.
We need to be mindful of everyone's health and safety when planning family gatherings. Make a plan and share it with your guests. Get tested at one of the many free testing sites within the city. Continue to be vigilant. Wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and social distance so you can enjoy your time together with peace of mind. Protecting our loved ones is the most important thing for all of us. Mask up, Houston. We're better together.
Quick question.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Freestyle Friday. It is the first show of 2021 for me and for the lunch break. I'm looking forward to many, many more. Looking forward to having some great guests back with us next week. Thankful for all the great guests that we had in 2020. Thankful for all the virtual co-hosts that we had some amazing young people that were a part of the show. And I'm thankful for you guys. I said it yesterday, but I want to say it again today. Happy New Year to you and yours. And thank you for making this show what it is. We just finished the top 20 most memorable events in sports for 2021. I'll count them down and try not to get further emotional about them. At number 1, Kobe Bryant's death, along with his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, baseball coach John Altobelli, wife Carrie Altobelli, and daughter Alyssa, 13, pilot Era Zobian, coach Christina Mauser, mother Sarah Chester, and daughter Peyton Chester, 13 years old. Took place on Sunday, January 26th. At number 2 was the Kansas City Chiefs on January 12th, overcoming a 24-0 first quarter deficit and outscoring the Houston Texans 51-7 for the rest of the game, and defeated the Texans in the AFC division round of the playoffs. At number 3, February 2nd, 2020, when the Kansas City Chiefs did it again, this time overcoming a 20-10 deficit to start the fourth quarter and beating San Francisco 31-20 to win their first Super Bowl championship in 50 years. At number 4, January 13th, LSU beating Clemson 42-25 to claim the school's 4th college football championship. Number 5 was October the 4th when LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the LA Lakers beat the Miami Heat 4-2 to win one for the Black Mamba, their 17th NBA title, and doing it in the bubble. Number 6, Miami Heat, unlikely playoff run as a number 5 seed, beating the Pacers in round 1 4-0, round 2 beating the number 1 seed Milwaukee 4-1, and then winning the Eastern Conference Finals by beating number 3 Boston 4-2. Number 7, August 27th, when the Milwaukee Bucks didn't come out of the locker room for their 3 p.m. tip-off with the Orlando Magic in protest of the shooting of Jacob Blake 7 times in the back by a police officer in Kenosha, Wisconsin, kicking off a protest of sports all around the world. Literally, sports shut down all around the world. Number 8, March 11th, NBA announced it was suspending play of its season after players in Utah tested positive for COVID-19. They did not resume play until July 30th in Disney. Number 9, April 23rd, the NFL held its first ever NFL draft virtually due to COVID-19. Number 10, October 27th, the LA Dodgers beat the Tampa Rays 3-1 and won the World Series 4-2, their first championship in 32 years and their 7th overall. And then also at number 10, was March 16th when the Texans announced they were trading all-pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals, along with fourth-round pick for David Johnson, a second-round pick, and a fourth-round pick in 2021. At number 11, October the 5th, when the Texans fired head coach and general manager Bill O'Brien after an 0-4 start. Tied for that at number 11 was Bubba Wallace, having to deal with a pull rope tied in the form of a noose in his garage, and NASCAR banning all Confederate flags from their buildings and events. That was on June the 10th. At number 12, January 13th, the Astros fired manager A.J. Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow in connection with the cheating scandal during the 2017 World Series championship. Number 13 was when they hired Dusty Baker on January 29th. On number 14th, when they hired James Click on February 3rd. Number 15, the Cowboys fired Jason Garrett on January the 5th after going 8-8 and missing the playoffs. Number 16 was June the 5th. The NFL players released a Black Lives Matter video making demands of the NFL on what they wanted to see going forward, and then causing number 17 on June the 6th when NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell released his own Black Lives Matter video in response to the players' demands. At number 18, March 17th, the NCAA announced the cancellation of March Madness, along with all sports, winter and spring, due to COVID-19. Number 19 was when DK Metcalf of the Seattle Seahawks chased down Buda Baker after an interception on the Cardinal 3-yard line and was about to take it in for a 97-yard pick six. And DK Metcalf ran him down, tackled him about the 7-yard line. And then number 20 was when DeAndre Hopkins, who should have been a Houston Texan, caught a Hail Mary pass from Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals to get a win over the Buffalo Bills. Those were your top 20 from 2020 here on the lunch break. All right, y'all. That's what I got. That's what I got. So let me give you a quick sports update. Can we do that? Can we do that? Try and end on a lighter note. Right now, the Cincinnati Bearcats still up. They're in the fourth quarter, just starting the fourth quarter. Cincinnati's got the ball, 1st and 10. Quarterback just threw it away under a lot of rush. But right now, Cincinnati's leading the Georgia Bulldogs 21-10. Cincinnati undefeated, but left out of the college football playoffs. Speaking of the college football playoffs today, they're going to get started about 3 p.m. Central. Number 1, Alabama, going to take on number 4, Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl. But that game is being played in Arlington, Texas, because of the COVID-19 situation in California. We had Heavenly Hughes, one of our longtime lunch breakers, on earlier, talking about how upset the folks are that the city decided to let that game be moved out of the state. But again, it is being played here in Texas. And then the late game in the college football playoffs, number 2, Clemson, going to take on number 3, the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. That'll kick off at 7 o'clock. Both of those games are on the mothership. Tomorrow, though, you got number 5, A&M, taking on number 13, North Carolina, in the Orange Bowl. That'll kick off at 7 o'clock. Again, A&M left out of the college football playoff because Notre Dame proved to be more worthy. It's all about that money. It's all about that money. Cincinnati, A&M, Coastal Carolina, either one of those should have been in that deal. The Rockets finally got their first win of the season when they beat Sacramento 122-119. They also gave head coach Stephen Silas his first win of his coaching career. James Harden finished with 33 on the night. John Wall had 22 on the night, and Christian Wood added 21. It's that kind of balanced scoring that the Rockets need. It'll be the same 2 teams tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Cincinnati just fumbled the ball away. The Georgia Bulldogs have recovered it, so it's Georgia ball again. Still early in the fourth quarter. It's a strip. Defensive player came around and stripped Georgia, the Cincinnati quarterback, of the ball, and again, Georgia was able to get on it. All right, New Orleans beat Oklahoma City 113-80 last night. Tonight, you got the Miami Heat visiting the Dallas Mavericks. That will tip off at 6. Also, the San Antonio Spurs are going to host the LA Lakers. That'll be tonight at 7. Let me just jump on that real quick before we go. Becky Hammon was the person that Greg Popovich turned the team over to when he got ejected in the second quarter the other night against the LA Lakers, meaning that Becky Hammon was the de facto head coach for the rest of the game for the San Antonio Spurs, making her the first woman to be a head coach of an NBA basketball team. But you have several news outlets like the AP, NPR, and others that refuse to call her a head coach. They said she was acting as a head coach. They said she was directing the team. I have never in my multiple decades doing this right here heard them refer to a man as a director of the team when he was coaching them. When Luke Walton filled in for Steve Kerr with the Golden State Warriors, they never called him a director. They never called him an acting head coach. He was a head coach of those games. But some kind of way, when it's a woman, they got to qualify it. They got to try to get it down to the least common denominator, not naming her as a head coach. Come on, y'all. It's 2021. Can we please be best? Can we do better? The woman was the head coach. It's okay. Nobody's going to lose their life. Nobody's going to lose money. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, what is this misogyny that you just cannot give women credit for doing stuff that men can do? It's okay for men to be head coaches of women college programs and WNBA teams, but you cannot even call a woman a head coach of an NBA team when that's exactly what she was for those moments. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. All right, Georgia just scored. They missed the 2-point conversion. So 21-16 is the score right now. Georgia down 21-16 after scoring. All right, so anyway, J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt says his future with the Texans is uncertain. He's heading into the final year of a contract where he is owed $17.5 million, but that money is not guaranteed, meaning that if the new general manager came in and decided that he wanted to let J.J. Watt go, just release him, or trade him, the Texans would not be on the hook for any of that money. It wouldn't be dead cap money. It wouldn't be anything. It would not be a hit against the salary cap. So J.J. Watt says his future with the Texans is uncertain. This season, J.J. Watt has 49 tackles, 5 sacks. That is un-J.J. Watt-like. So we'll see what they decide. Keith Hennig said, great way to start the new year. AJ, exceptional work as always. Lunch breakers, happy and safe and healthy new year. Happy 2021, everyone. Keith Hennig, right back at you. Exact same sentiments. All right, y'all, let me get ready to go. I do want y'all to know that Donnie McClurkin will be up next with his New Year's edition of the Donnie McClurkin Show. Over the weekend, you got some great shows. You got Keep Hope Alive, Jesse Jackson. You got Walt Baby Love and Gospel Tracks. And then you got the Not So Christian to Me show with Larry Scott and the good folks on that show. All that happening this weekend. Then come Monday morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff, their first show of 2021. And then, Lord say the same, I'll be back in studio at the legendary KYOK. as we bring you the first Media Monday of 2021. We'll be looking forward to having some guests with us and having a good time. So as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except still wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you, be sensitive to everybody around you, give them their 6 feet, and whatever you do in 2021 like never before, when you see that racism, kill it, not the person, the racism. We'll need that in 2021. We saw what that did in 2020 and the years before. We'll have to take it with us. All right, y'all, I got to go.